that the U.S. is home right now to hundreds of thousands of local enterprises. And then in recent years, local enterprises, at least in some sectors of the economy and in some regions of the country, have been growing, both in popularity and in some cases in numbers. Since 2002, we've added over 110,000 small farms in the U.S., according to the U.S. Census. Bill McKibben mentioned that last night. The number of farmers markets in this country has doubled from about 3,000 10 years ago to 6,000 today. And independent retailers are beginning to make a bit of a comeback. And I wanted to mention some of these, and there are a lot of other statistics I could give you, but I wanted to mention these things for a couple of reasons. One is that we're not starting from scratch in terms of building a new economy. There's a foundation out there to work with. But more important than that, I think even, is that all of these local enterprises, all of these small business owners, they represent a constituency, a political constituency that we really need to bring about the kind of change in public policy that we need to see. So in sharing these, I think, encouraging signs of change that are out there, I want to be really careful not to gloss over the very intense challenges that local enterprises have been facing. The last few decades have obviously been very tough for independent businesses of all kinds and small farmers. Many small businesses have fallen by the wayside as large corporations have gobbled up one sector after another in the economy, often, of course, aided by government subsidies and policies that tilt the playing field. You know, and we can see this all over the place. You know, the food system is a great example. You all, I know, are aware of what our farm bill does in terms of what it funds and what it doesn't fund, and how it supports the industrial agriculture system. You know, what is happening in the food system is actually very similar to what's happening in a lot of sectors of our economy. Right now we have this growth of all this small local stuff going on the one side, but then the rest of the system is actually simultaneously becoming more and more consolidated and industrialized. In food, for example, we now have a situation where we have 300 million eaters on one side, about 2 million or so farmers on the other side, and it's shaped like an hourglass. And in the middle are a handful, very small handful of food processors and in particular retailers who now squeeze that hourglass and control the flow of food to eaters. At the top of the whole system, the company that's really running things right now is Walmart. You know, Walmart captures 1 out of every $4 that Americans spend on food, which is staggering. And there are 29 metro areas in the U.S. where Walmart captures half of all the dollars we spend on food. Or we can look at the case of Amazon.com, which is sort of looming ever larger on the horizon. Amazon has really grown a lot by benefiting from public policy. They don't have to collect sales tax like independent retailers do. If you go to a toy store here or a local bookstore, they're going to add almost 10% onto the price of whatever you buy, and they have to by law. Amazon, they don't. They've gotten this great exemption, and it's helped fuel their growth. They also pick up a lot of subsidies. They've built 69 warehouses in the U.S., and almost all of them have been subsidized in one way or another by local development agencies. You know, go ask a local retailer what kind of subsidies they've gotten from the government and tell me we have a fair playing field. So when you consider how much the system is rigged against independent businesses, the real wonder is not that so many have failed, but that so many really have survived. There are many signs right now, as I suggested at the beginning, that Americans are really quite eager right now to have a conversation about scale and ownership and about the structure of our economy. And that Americans are really quite eager to act on that. You know, more and more people are moving their money. Research that we do and other people have done shows that more people have buy local on their minds when they're making decisions in the marketplace. But all of these things, I think, we have to take as indicators of people's interests. These things are not change. Moving your money is good, but it's not change. And I very much agree with what Annie Leonard had to say this morning, that we can't just act as consumers, we also have to act as citizens. And a lot of what we're doing is working at the local and the state level, because it is a little daunting to think about how do you change Congress, you know, and I think our minds, when we think about political change, we kind of go to Congress. But the reality is that we all have a lot of power when it comes to changing what our city council does, what our state legislatures do. And our states and our cities have a lot of dormant authority to exercise that they haven't been exercising over the economy. At the local level, there's a tremendous amount of power that we have over land use law, economic development policy that can really shape how sustainable our communities are and the degree to which our communities are places where local enterprise can prosper and build the kind of economy that we need.